Shalom, shalom. I want to start with giving all praise to Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahushai, Ba'asham Kakadash, double honors to the apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone for teaching us scriptures, among other things, and salutations to all the Akyam across the earth for doing this work in sincerity and truth. And shalom to the sincere brothers and sisters who are at home watching the videos and do the best to please Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahushai. So yeah, man, basically this video I want to go into basically the title already, the picture already shows it, some real talk. Basically some things that been going on, and that, many brothers might already have been through, recently, like 2 days ago, or yesterday, not even 2 days, yesterday, father passed away, and you hear that a lot of times, especially with my generation, me myself, I'm 45 years old. So the generation of my father, that's especially, men didn't, that's a generation that about men that don't show emotions, that basically don't talk, and it's kind of, how do you say that? Yeah, it's basically what it is. But also another thing is, I saw the same thing with my oldest son. He came with me today, and I had to tell him something. In a minute, I'm gonna explain what it was, and basically he stayed cool. And then he's 9 years old, and then he went to his mother, and then basically his mother lived near me, so he was already walking towards his house, and his mother was walking towards him, walking to meet him, and basically when he was with his mother, he basically burst out in tears, or probably around the corner. So then he came back. But yeah, I know myself. I don't even. I'm also not a person that talks a lot. But in the truth, you learn. You learn to talk about things that be going on and all that. So yeah, but still, I know for myself that I always keep it at a minimum. Because I always like to. Yeah, that's also a thing that I also inherit from my father. Basically like to take care of things by yourself. And all that. And that's also a thing that Jake has, a problem that Jake has in general. Want to handle his own business and be like, yeah, well, think you Superman, that you are able to do everything, to fix everything. But yeah, we're not. And so yeah, and his mother asked him, like, when she came to pick him up, he stayed a while, like maybe 30 minutes or something. He stayed at my place, and then his mother came to pick him up, and she told him, like, okay, uh did you had a chance to ask your father the questions that you wanted to ask him? And then he said to her, yes. And then I look at her, I said, no, he didn't ask me nothing. And then basically I had to laugh a little bit, like, yeah, you can see that on that side, you can see that is my son, that he's also like, finds it difficult, to talk. Now the thing, what happened is, my father, yeah, like I said, my father, he passed away like yesterday. And so actually the plan was, like every Friday when I come from work, I pick up my youngest, and Saturday before I go to camp, I bring him back to his mother. And like the oldest, he doesn't always come, but he lives very close, street next to me. So yeah, he also has the option to come whenever he likes. But yeah, but he was, after school, he had a play date. He was going to a friend's house, and eat there, and play some games, some video games, and all that. So she told him that he would come, but it would be a little bit late. And then I told her, like, okay, then let him come today. And then I told him that. But yeah, he kept it cool. I explained to him what happened. And yeah, he kept it cool, and I asked him, like, okay, do you want to know something or whatever? Do you want to go back to your mother? He's like, yeah, okay, I want to go back to my mother. Then I sent his mother a message, and she came to pick him up, and then she came back with him. He was all in tears because 2 years ago I went with him, on the island of Curacao, and he spent some time with his grandfather, with my father. But yeah, me myself, I had a very difficult relationship with him. Basically a story of many Jakes, many brothers, that yeah, your father, is kind of unreachable and all that. with me, yeah, I have a sister also. Like, he also has another daughter, which is like 11 years older than me. I recently found out that I haven't spoke for a while, because she never, basically never show attention in my younger son. She never saw him, and he's about to get 7 this year. So Yarataza. So I mean, like, yeah, man, it's supposed to be like a two-way street, not a one-way street, asking me if I can fix things in the house, but meanwhile I have to hear from other family members that you were in the town where I live, and but you never contacted me, and at a certain point I just stopped contacting her. But it seems that the Mosai is also jacking her up. Yeah, she done some wicked shit in her life also, committing adultery and all that shit, But the Mosai is basically giving it back. And even if I look at my father, yeah, I don't want to say that he died violently, but he died in fear and he had pain, and how do you say that, he was alone, because my sister, my little sister, like 3 years younger than me, she is basically, she was always his favorite. She could never do anything wrong. If, let's say, if she did something, then my father would find a way to twist it that eventually it would be my fault that she did it. Things like that. I had to deal with it. Even like last time, 2 years ago, when I went to Curacao, I went to stay with him. Before that, I didn't saw him like in 16 years. 25 years that I didn't went to Curacao. I didn't saw him in 16 years. And then, how do you say that? No, when I went out teaching and came back, he basically wanted to start. Yeah, he basically started to argue with me, or wanted to start to argue with me, and I just told him like, no, I'm not gonna do this. I just went to my room because I stayed at his place, and then basically the next day, I was also another brother who helped me with a contact with a woman on Curacao who can fix cars. You can rent cars by her, and put me in contact with her. So I fixed the car, and how do you say that? The brother hooked me up, and the next day I told him like, he was already at the evening he started to bug up a little bit, and I told him like, yeah, don't worry, man, I'm gonna pack my stuff and I'm gonna go to my auntie's house. So basically, that's what I did. And then he was all surprised, like, oh shit, and he saw that I had a car and all that. He really thought that I was not able to fix anything there, especially since I haven't been there for a long time, and he still wanted to treat me like a little boy. Meanwhile, I'm a father of myself, with 2 children. So yeah. So and that for me was basically, I tried to give him another chance, like basically like, okay, treat me. Are you gonna treat me normal or what? But he basically chose to stay on the same bullshit. And for me, it was already like, okay, then I'm just leave it like that, because the scriptures also teach us that you ain't supposed to argue with your parents and all that. If they're wicked, and yeah, if they're wicked, you can just leave the contact. But yeah, you always have to need to respect for your parents. Scriptures are very clear about that. So I also kept that in mind. Last time when I was there, and the contact was not that much. The last time that I spoke with him was in the beginning of October. So yeah, and it basically went quick. So he yeah, he fell on his face. He had some wound on his head, and he broke his ankle. Eventually went in the hospital, and there he died, alone. My sister, she's flying tomorrow, for the yeah, to Curacao. But she was like, yeah, I'm gonna take care of him, this and that. And meanwhile, yeah, before she was able to take care of him, he passed away, alone with nobody by his side, you know because he chose to left his family. That's also a thing, as a man you are allowed to have multiple wives, but you need to take care of them. The scriptures are very clear about that, and that's also a thing that he didn't do, because until this day, yeah, now he passed away, but he was still married to my mother, but he didn't took care of her. He just left, and he literally said that he didn't want to take care of wife and children, that he's going to choose for himself. That's what he literally said, and that's what he literally did. So yeah, he was going off on that side, and I tried also, when he went there, I tried to explain him, like, when I found out about the truth, like, it's not a problem, because in that generation they used to uh, uh, um, I said it accepted. The women used to accept it when a man had another woman, you know. Then they wouldn't make a big deal of it, you know. And yeah, I tried to explain him that, you know, because he had a girlfriend over there, you know. He had a wife over there, but she also left him, you know, like a year ago, you know. And then he started to bugging my mom, you know, cursing at my mom and this and that, and told her like, you need to come to Curacao and all that, you know. But before that, he was like, no, I'm going, and you know. And my mother was very disappointed, you know, because this also a story that I recently found out, because he always told her like, when the children are grown, we together go back to Curacao. But then basically when he had was able to go with his pension, he basically told, you know. And my sister, she already knew it like a year before he went. She already knew that he was about to go, you know. So that shows you also something. And he told me and my mother like 3 months before he went for good to Curacao, like he's going, you know. So yeah. So that's those are just some things that that he did, you know. There was a lot of shit, but you know, I don't want to talk all that shit, you know. I just wanted, and I also want to keep this video short, you know. But basically, yeah, it's just a little bit, yeah, how can you call it, maybe a confession or whatever, you know. Some yeah, over things off my chest, you know. Basically, like the picture says, you know, some real talk, you know. So real talk, that's basically what it is, you know. But yeah, like I said, the scriptures are clear, you know. You need to honor your father and your mother. But for me, at a certain point, it was like, okay, you know, I'm not gonna argue with him or whatever, you know. If he calls, I'll just talk with him and all that, you know. But you know, for me, last time that I went there, I was like, I'm not gonna put a lot of energy in it, you know. But you know, when my sister called me like yesterday in the morning that he passed away, you know, I didn't expect that I would still feel something, because I was always kind of angry with him, you know, like why this, why that, you know that shit. And you know, many times I tried to talk with him and then was like, no, that things like that never happened, you know, denying, you know, and all that shit, you know. But yeah, so yeah, basically that the thing is, you know. So now, yeah, now he passed away, and yeah, next week is the funeral, so I'm going to the island too during the week, you know. And you know, if everything goes well, then Yaratza gonna, you know, gonna be back on time before the camp teaching, you know. But there's a lot of stuff that needs to be arranged, you know, papers that need to be signed, because my mother still, you know, she's the legal, the one who is the legal inheritance of him, you know, because she's his widow, you know, now. So yeah, man. And my sister already tried to be slick. Story of her life, you know. Try to snatch stuff before we reach there, you know. But yeah, Yaurat is that's gonna be good. So basically that, man. So let me just read a couple of scriptures. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 12. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which Yahweh thy power give thee. You know, so honor your father, your mother, and your father, you know. And that's also a thing, you know, as long as they don't hinder the truth. I try to explain my father thing, you know. He used to go to church and all that. And one time I came to the house, you know, I went with my son to the beach or whatever. There's one evening we came back, and he was reading scriptures, you know, or it was something, I don't know. I think my son was already sleeping or something. Then I wanted to show him something. I told him like, okay, go to the book of Psalms, you know. I wanted to show him Psalms 147, you know, concerning that the law, statutes, commandments are only for the children of Israel, you know. And I wanted to show him that, and then you know, he was like, yeah, those are just stories, you know. And I was looking at him like, okay, that's yeah, that's showing no fear for you saying that, like, oh, those are just stories, you know. Basically, there's no value on the words of Yahweh Basham Yahushai. That's literally what he said, you know. That's literally what he said. But meanwhile, you want to go to church, you know. But that shows you that these antichrist, you know, those are a bunch of false pretenders. And like the book of Matthew said in chapter 6, you know, they be praying on the streets, you know, and they have their reward. People think like that they are good people. Meanwhile, they are a bunch of devils, man. But yeah, now my father is he in his right mind. He's at rest, and yeah, if I'm gonna make it Yahweh Razai, he's gonna come back to my nutsack, you know, because that's what it is, you know. The ones that the 2/3 and all that, you know, they're gonna come back in the right mind, but they're gonna come back to the elect, you know, and they're gonna be ashamed for a while, man. So I think already now in the heavenly round he's ashamed, you know, when he realize how yeah, when he realize about the truth, you know. So this is the book of Leviticus, chapter 20 and verse 9. For everyone that curses his father or his mother shall be surely put to death. He that curseth his father or his mother, his blood shall be upon him. You see that, how serious it is, you know. So you ain't supposed to do that, you know. Doesn't even, no matter what they have done, you know, basically. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 30 and verse 17. The eye that mocketh at his father and despiseth to obey his mother, the ravens of the valley shall pick it out, and the young eagles shall eat it. You see that? The Most High is really serious about that, you know, concerning honoring your mother and your father. And like I said, as long as they don't hindering the truth, you know, you basically, you know, stay with, keep the respect to them. And of course, if your father scores, you keep cursing on you, at a certain point, you just stop the contact, you know. But you ain't supposed to be fighting with your father, you know, for example, you know. So this is the book of Ephesians, chapter 6 and 1. Children, obey your parents in Yahweh, for this is right. Honor thy father and mother, which is the first commandment with promise, that it may be well with thee, and that thou mayest live long on the earth. And ye fathers, provoke not your children to wrath, bring them up in the nurture and admonition of Yahweh. You see that? And that's basically what my father did. You know, he pushed me to a certain way, and I heard many cases of children, you know, of brothers, basically had to deal with a lot of wicked shit, worse shit of their parents, man. And at a certain point, you're gonna be like, yeah, man, I'm like, yeah, you got what you deserve, man. I told my mother, like, yeah, you see how he died, you know, he died alone and in fear and with pain, you know. The Most High judged him right there, you know. He didn't give him mercy. Yeah, he, you know, like in 2 weeks, he was supposed to be 82, you know. He also could have died in his sleep, you know, in his own bed. But he died in a hospital, afraid, alone, you know, nobody next to him, you know. Yeah, man. So yeah, man, basically I'm gonna leave the video like that, man. Just wanted to have this off my chest, basically, you know. So yeah, man. So with that, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahweh Shai, Ba'asham Kakadash, double honors to the apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstones for teaching us the scriptures, among other things, and salutations to all the Achium across the earth for doing this work in sincerity and in truth. And shalom to the sincere brothers and sisters who are at home watching the videos and do the best to please Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahweh Shai. So yeah, man, with that, I'm gonna say shalom.